Hello everybody and welcome to my video. If you're new to my channel, welcome to the channel, and if you're returning, welcome back. Today I'm going to recycle 3 Christmas cards using some new dies that I got from AliExpress. So here are the 3 cards I chose to recycle, and I'll set them aside for a minute and I'll go through my whole process with them. These are the dies that I got from AliExpress, and they're these metal border dies, and they have this really neat edge to them, a scalloped edge, like a lacy scalloped edge. And they come in this whole set of all these different sizes. But for these cards, I'm going to use the biggest one. I just got them in the mail today and I was so excited to use them. So I noticed that they fit perfectly on an A2 size card, and the A2 size card is an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper folded in half this way and then cut in half. So it's really 1/4 of a sheet of paper is what you're working on. It measures 5.5 by 4.25. And this just fits perfectly to make a really nice background. So I thought, why not recycle some cards with this today? So I went ahead and not only did I recycle these Christmas cards, but I recycled envelopes that I received in the mail. One of the ladies from the card swap that I'm in sent me her envelopes as well with her Christmas cards. So there was this pretty craft paper one, and I went ahead already and I cut them out using this die cut. And you can see that they fit on the paper really, really nice. They make a really good background for the card. I'm trying to figure out my new camera here. I'm sorry. There we go. And then I did this one out of a red envelope. But when I put the card on the front, you're not going to see all of that. I wanted to black out her address. And this looks really good on the card as well. And then my third one is a recycled packaging from some medication that I had. They're patches for your skin. So I thought the package was really this pretty silver. It's kind of a matte silver, so I thought it was really, really good. And it looks like I missed getting out a couple of these little holes. Let me do that real quick. All right, there we go. So now that's really good. So it's just, these were lidocaine patches, and the inside of the package is this really pretty silver. All right, so I have those 3 backgrounds that I cut out to go with these cards, and I'll kind of show you my thought process. I thought this one would go with this card really well, since it's tan and it's craft and it's kind of a country look. So I'm just going to set that aside. And then this one here, I thought I would use the red on the edge since it matched the berries and it would bring it out. And I will set that aside. And then this one here, I thought I would use the silver to make the ornaments pop. So I'll set that one aside. And I'll set this die aside. So we'll start with this one. And you know, normally I use these templates that I made, and if you haven't seen my templates for recycling cards, go back a couple videos. I show you how I make these templates. And with the templates, you can take, for example, a larger card and put the template on it and see what you're gonna cut down to make an A2 size card. So you can make maybe sometimes 2 cards out of one, or you know what you're cutting out and you're not gonna ruin it before you start cutting. And then I also did this one so you can have white space around it. So check out those videos. I show you how I made them and measured them. But what's neat about that is this here die, it gives me the size that I want to have on my card. So I'm going to go ahead and use this die as my template. I'm going to cut, of course, a little smaller than this die, so there's a little bit of a solid edge. So with this card here, it already has this nice ribbon at the top, and it's actually punched in a hole in there. So I thought I would kind of just go ahead and keep that embellishment, you know, let the card do the work. And if I put this on it, I realize I'm going to have to trim just a sliver off of each edge, which is okay, because you'll still see the houses and the trees. And then it's going to come across the bottom just perfectly for the Merry Christmas to show. So I think that's going to take up the amount of card just right. So let's go ahead and cut this card apart. Pull out my paper trimmer. And I don't think I can get the whole thing on camera very good. But I'm going to trim off the very edge of this card. I'm trying to see if you can see this pretty good. There we go. Try to pull it off the table a little bit. There. And then I have to decide what size I really need it. So I'm going to measure the inside of this, and it measures about 3.5 by 4 3/4 is what I want this to be. And right here I have about 4 inches, so I need to take off about 1/8 of an inch on each side. No, more like 1/4 of an inch on each side. So take 1/4 of an inch on that side, and it brings it right to the tree. And then I'm going to take it to 3.5 on that side. And then I know I want to keep the top intact. So what did I say this was? 4 3/4. Yeah, 4 3/4 this way. So I will line it up at the 4 3/4 mark and then cut. And then that's what I'm left with. So move that out of the way. Move these out of the way. And then that will fit right on there. And I think that looks really nice. So I'm going to go ahead and mat it onto this card. So I really let the card and everything do the work for me. And I'm going to go ahead and use some of this art glitter glue, and you really only need just a tiny, tiny bit. You don't need a lot of this glue. Just a really tiny line. And again, I will line up the corners. When I'm trying to line up a mat, oops, I usually line up the bottom corner and the top corner so it comes out evenly. And then I will put this down right on there. And I notice, I think I have a little give on the side here. Let me get my little paper trimmer. I have my mini paper trimmer here so you can see a little bit better. I'm going to take just a sliver off of that edge. Okay. There, and that way it makes it a little more even from the top and the bottom and then side to side. And I'll go ahead and put just a little bit of this glue here. And I think I want to put a little glue up right around that ribbon. And maybe a little bit in that corner. Okay, there we go. And what's nice about the wet glue is you have a couple extra seconds to place everything down. There. So, really easy. There we have a recycled card. For the inside of the card, I do want to use the sentiment. Let me put my pin back in my glue. I do want to use this sentiment. So what I do when I use a sentiment is I cut it out. I'm going to cut off this bottom piece and cut it there. And then I will trim down each side a little bit. There. Now I can either mat it on the back of this, maybe. I might as well. That way that uses that scrap perfectly. Just cut a little bit off that. And then I will mat it like that right into the middle. There. So that card is completely done. I'll just have to stamp my stamp on the back. So that's really easy. Now if you wanted to add a little extra embellishment to that card, you can take, I have this Jelly Roll Stardust glitter pen, a clear star glitter pen, and I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit of embellishments on those snowflakes in the centers. And I think I'll do some embellishments on this garland around the house and maybe on this house as well. And maybe on the bottoms of the windows. There. And you can go back in and add as much as you want, but I don't know if you can see it. You probably can't see it on the camera. It just adds just a little bit of bling to the card. So that card is done. And let me get some of my trash out of the way, and let's work on the second card, which is this one here. And for this I'm going to need my big paper trimmer again. So I have this paper, and I'm going to use it on a card like this, but I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to have to cut this down. So I'll bring my paper trimmer over, and I need to decide where I want to cut it. I definitely want these berries up here to show, and I want the edge of that to show. So I'm going to take a pencil and line this up kind of where I think I want it. I'm thinking like right there, and I'm going to just kind of just draw my pencil lines here, because I can always erase the line when I'm done if it shows. But I'm going to cut it a little smaller than the pencil line. Alright, so I have my little outline there. And I will cut it just to the inside of that pencil line. And then I'll cut this edge. I'm sorry, I'm off my screen. There you go. I'm going to cut this edge just to the inside of the pencil line. And then this bottom edge just to the inside. And this edge just to the inside. Alright, so I cut it just to the inside of those pencil lines. And there, it fits in there really, really nicely. So since this is a thinner paper, I'm going to use tape on it instead of glue. I like the glue for thicker things, but the tape is better for thinner, that way it doesn't buckle. I'm going to run out of tape. I got to change my tape out. And then I'm going to go ahead and center this on here. And again, when I'm lining it up, I look at the corners, opposite corners. And then I'm going to put this on. Now, if you wanted dimension, you know, you could put it up. But I like to not have so much dimension on flat pieces. That way they're not so thick for the envelope. All right. There. And you could leave it just like that if you wanted, or you can see about adding some embellishments. And I went through my embellishments and I pulled out these white pearls. And I thought they might be pretty on the sides. I think they'd look really good because there's white snowflakes. And I'm just going to put them just on this very edge of the paper, very edge of the green part of the paper. And then I have another one for the other side. And that just adds just a little bit of some bling. Well, maybe not bling, just some pearls. There. There you go. So then there, that's another recycled card. Super easy, super quick. All right. Oh, and then I was going to put the inside in. So I'll bring my paper trimmer back over and I will cut those off. I guess I need to cut the ends too. Alright. So I have the saying, and I have an extra piece of this red cardstock from when I cut out, or actually red envelope, from when I cut out the piece, the die cut, and I will go ahead and trim it down. Mark. And then all right, so I have that piece. there that fits on there really good. And this is the actual inside of the envelope, and it almost has a white like heathering on that. It's really pretty rather than just plain solid red. Alright, so then you have the inside of the card. So then that card is done, and then I have one more to go. And it's this one. So this one I'm going to do a couple extra little things with. I definitely know I want this on the background here. And my card has a mark on it, but it doesn't matter because it's going to be covered up. So I will go ahead and glue this part down. Alright, so this one's going to be a little more complex. I'm going to see if I can get it into my little paper trimmer. I think it will just fit. So I know I'm going to cut this red border off. So I'm going to start by just cutting this top piece right up to that red border. Oops, I left a little red border. There. All right. So I know I have to start with that, and I know I need this whole side because of the word greetings. It comes right to the edge. So I will cut that right to that edge. So, and I think I know I'm going to need the whole bottom. Yes, I'm going to need as much this way as I can. So I know I'm going to cut that whole red border right off, as close to it as I can get. And I left a little sliver. I'm not used to this paper trimmer there. So I know I need this much of the card. I just need to measure how far this way I need to go. So I will put it on here, and if you don't want to get fancy and measure, you can do it this way. Just put it upside down, take your pencil, and make a mark where you want the cut to be. So then I'm going to put it in my trimmer and trim off that piece. So that's what I have left of that card, and it's going to go on here. So you do get a little bit of the silver border, but I decided I was going to spruce this card up just a little bit more and do something a little bit different. So I got my 1 1/4 inch punch. I think this is from Stampin' Up. It's EK Success. And I'm going to cut out, I want to cut out this ornament. And this punch just happens to fit perfectly. So I turn the punch upside down and put the card in, and then I line it up. I'm going to turn it so I can see it, though. You may not be able to see it, but I'm going to line it up as best I can right into that circle. And then what you can do is just squeeze the punch just a little bit till it holds your paper in place without cutting through. See? Then you can move it all over. So you could see how it's lined up in there. And then once you're happy with it, then you go ahead and complete your punch. So then I'm going to go ahead and glue this one down, because then I'm done with this part. So I will glue this down. You can use tape or glue. I just happen to have this out because I knew my other tape dispenser was almost empty, and I didn't want to waste what was in there, and I didn't want to have to change it mid video. Normally I use my tape, but the glue works fine too. All right, and you can push that, put that down nice and smooth. And then I have this piece, which, you know, fits in there just fine. And I am going to, let me see how it was lined up. Maybe it was this way. Yeah, that's how it was lined up originally. I'm going to take some sticky dots, or foam tape. This I get at the Dollar Tree, and it's really not very thick. It's thinner than most. It'll give it a little bit of a dimension, but yet not too much, and it'll still be easy to mail. And I want to put another piece. And I use all of these scraps. I don't usually throw any of that away. It doesn't matter what the shape is, because it'll be on the back of your item. And peel off the backing. And then before I push it down, I just kind of want to look at it again and see where it belongs. And just line it up on there and then push it down. So that gives that ornament just a little bit of dimension. It pops it up. And then if you can see underneath it, it's okay because it's that pretty silver. So it's not really, if anything, it'll make it look like some silver on that ornament. And then I have these stickers that I found in my stash. And I thought I might add a little bit of one of these up in the corner. I think this one, since it's a Christmas tree anyway, and this will just kind of give it like, make the Christmas tree come to life a little bit up in that corner. So there we go. There is number 3. So you really don't have to do a whole lot of hard work when you're recycling your cards. You can let your cards and let your tools do the work for you. So we have this one. This is the first one we made. And it's just on a recycled craft envelope. And I used a little bit of glitter pen just to add just dots of glitter on it. It's really kind of pretty. I used the embellishment that they gave me and just made that card with it and put the sentiment inside. And then this red one, I don't know if you can tell, this card has some gold dots on the background mixed in with the snow. I'm not sure if the camera's picking that up or not, but it does already have some gold on there. And I didn't want to go too crazy with embellishments, but I did think that the white pearls looked really pretty down the sides. And again, this red paper was a recycled envelope. And then I even recycled the inside. And then this one here was a recycled packaging, a sticker from my stash, and then I just pop dotted that up. And I didn't put this on the inside yet. But I have, yes, I was going to show you this. I have this sentiment, and of course the people, they wrote too close to the words. I'm not going to be able to cut that out very well. But I will be able to use half of it. I can make it say, "May the warmth and beauty of the season remain in your heart and home," and just leave it at that and leave out the "throughout the new year." So let's go ahead and do that one. And I'm going to just cut that throughout the New Year part off. Sometimes if people write too close to the words, you cannot salvage it. But in this case, it still worked out okay. I was able to salvage most of the saying. There. And I always look at the back of the envelopes to see if they're red or see what color they are. And this one here, I think I'm actually, I'm not sure. I don't think that's going to work. It has that berry in the way. So I have this piece left over, this red piece. So I'm going to go ahead and cut a sliver off of that. I'm just going to eyeball it. Yep. And then we will put this on here. And then trim that edge off. And I think I will try to use up my last bit of tape. And then I will change this out tonight. All right. There we go. All right. So there we go. Those are the 3 cards that I made out of those other cards. I hope you enjoyed it. If you like what you see, please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe to my channel. There'll be plenty more videos going on, and I hope to see you around soon. Take care and happy Valentine's Day. Bye-bye.